All right, so we will go ahead then and get started. Perfect. I'm so glad you can hear. Be sure to, if you have questions at any point, feel free to type it in the chat box. And then at the end, I will go ahead and unmute anyone just in case you want to chat about any of this, or if you have any questions that you would rather just say as opposed to typing out. So that will come at the end. So here at Girl Scouts, one of the things that we're striving to instill in our girls, so our members just like you that are listening to this call, is that we want them to have the competency or the ability to educate and inspire others to act. And what this means is having the knowledge necessary and the skills and the ability to communicate in a way that inspires others to really take action and stand up for what is right or stand up against what is wrong. So really that is something that we're trying to build in every Girl Scout that comes through our program. So hopefully this is a skill set that you're seeing develop in yourself as you're going through the Girl Scout process. And hopefully it's something that is really becoming a part of who you are. And so today we're going to be talking about that in terms of what it means to spread the word about Girl Scouts and what you can do to educate and inspire others to act. So an important question to get us started: why does this matter? Why should we all be partnering together and really attempting to spread the word about Girl Scouts? Why is it important? Well, I'll turn the question around to you. So what do you think? Why do you think that this is important to kind of spread the word about Girl Scouts? Looks like we may have lost someone. So hopefully you'll chime in a second here. Let us know why you think that this matters, but we'll go ahead and continue on. The reason that this is really important is because every girl deserves to experience the life-changing magic that is Girl Scouts. And we know that the better we do at telling the story of Girl Scouts and the better we do at talking about why Girl Scouts is so important and why girls love being part of Girl Scouts, the more girls will join Girl Scouts. And this is important because we know that Girl Scouts change the world and Girl Scouts make the world a better place. And the skills that we're building in girls really allow them to change the world. And those are skills, those leadership skills, those interpersonal skills, all of those skills can be a game changer in the lives of girls. Not everyone knows that Girl Scouting really prepares girls for a lifetime of leadership. And that is why this is so important, because the better job we do at spreading the word about Girl Scouts, meaning, telling people about why Girl Scouts is important, that just means that more girls have their lives changed due to Girl Scouts. So that's why we're here, and that's kind of really why we're talking about this today. On tonight's agenda, we'll talk about kind of the basics of marketing, talk about what you can do, and then as I mentioned, we will go into a Q&A. I did just realize that I didn't introduce myself, which should have been the first thing that I did, so I apologize for that. But my name is Brenna Smith, and I am lucky to serve as the communications manager for Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan, which means that really all the time, all I'm doing is working on spreading the word about Girl Scouting, about our amazing initiatives, about everything going on throughout our council, throughout our footprint, to both our, what we call our internal customers, which is all of our current members, and then our external market as well. So those are all of the people who are not currently Girl Scouts, but who may want to become Girl Scouts. So that's a little bit about what I do. But yeah, like I said, we'll kind of go through some of those basics. We'll talk about what you can do, and then we will have time for Q&A at the end. If you do have any questions that pop up that are urgent or that you want to put in the chat box, I will keep my eye on that chat box throughout the evening, just so that I can answer any questions that you might have as they kind of arise. So moving on. Before we begin, I do want to say one really important thing, is that tonight we're talking about marketing for every single level of confidence. So whether you are someone who feels like you could go on TV in front of the entire country and talk about how awesome and fun Girl Scouts is, or you're someone who the thought of that just totally makes you sick and you want nothing to do with that, either side of that equation is perfectly fine, because marketing is so many things, and all of those aspects are so important to the marketing process. So no matter what your level of confidence is, no matter how outgoing you are, no matter how shy you are, there is something that you can do that will not be scary or intimidating, that you'll enjoy doing. And that being said, there are also opportunities for you to step outside of your comfort zone and grow in that way as well. So I just really wanted to touch on that, because I think it's important to understand that, it's looking like my screen is not showing. Give me 1 second. Okay, good. We're all caught up now. Sorry about that. So yes, like I was saying, no matter what your level of confidence is, no matter what you think about yourself and your abilities, there is something that everyone is capable of doing when it comes to marketing. So we're going to talk about all of those things today. That way everyone kind of has a glimpse of, the different things that they might be able to do in order to help us spread the word about Girl Scouts. So what is marketing? Marketing is the process of spreading information about how a product or a service, about what that product or service is, in order to grow that product or service. So when we're talking about marketing for Girl Scouts, we're really talking about just telling people about Girl Scouts so that we can grow Girl Scouting. Because again, when we go back to our first point about the more that people know about Girl Scouts, the more lives will change and more girls will be empowered because they're involved in Girl Scouts. And so this is just something that, this is the way we go about spreading that word about Girl Scouts. So marketing is that process of spreading the information so that other people know, what Girl Scouts is all about, what's important to us, etc. So marketing really is just that process. And it means a lot of different things. So it could mean social media campaigns. You've probably seen hashtags on Instagram or Twitter or whatever media that you're on. A lot of them are using hashtags nowadays. So things like that. Recently, there's a Girl Scout initiative from Girl Scouts of the USA because of Girl Scouts. So this idea that it's all of these really successful women who reflect back on their experience as a Girl Scout, and they recognize that the success that they have, is largely due to what they experienced in Girl Scouts. So that's one example of a social media campaign. Another marketing exercise is email marketing. So email marketing, depending on how old you are listening, you might receive a ton of email marketing. If you personally don't, then your parents, your grandparents, they probably receive a ton of email marketing to their inboxes. So this is anything from what we call a drip campaign, which is feeding a message little by little to your audience, or, a retailer, a shopping center, anything that sells a good or product, sending that information via email. And so there are a lot of really cool things that you can do when it comes to email marketing. So that is just another example of marketing. Phone calls and text messages are also great examples of marketing. So, well, maybe not great examples, but you've probably had a telemarketer phone call, people who it's the kind of the 1-800 robocall, that kind of thing. That's definitely a bad example of phone call marketing, and it definitely has a bad connotation. But other phone calls and text message marketing can be very effective. So if you're making, a personal call to spread the word about an event or an opportunity, that can be definitely a positive thing. Text messaging is also a kind of emerging marketing practice, to where you can actually send a text to someone's phone, depending on, there's some legal ramifications of that. You have to have the proper permissions in order to send somebody a text. You can't just randomly text whoever you want for marketing purposes, but we definitely utilize both phone calls and text messages when we're talking about our marketing practices. So it is definitely an option. Another example, and this part is huge, would be flyers and external marketing. So when I'm talking about flyers, you've probably seen, hopefully, some recruitment flyers in your community that really talk about Girl Scouts and how awesome it is. And hopefully, different materials about events and things like that. In terms of external marketing, we also have yard signs that are available. You can write, a personalized kind of note on a yard sign. So if you'd like a yard sign for your front yard that talks about Girl Scouts, let me know, because we can definitely hook you up. But then we're also talking about things like TV, print media, commercials, radio, all kinds of stuff like that. So external marketing, really the difference between internal marketing and external marketing is that internal marketing goes to people who are already part of your organization. So an example of this might be when we send out an email to our troop leaders telling them about an event coming up. That's internal marketing, because they're already part of our organization. They already see the value of it, and we're just spreading the word to them about this particular event. Whereas external marketing is when you are marketing to people who are not currently part of your organization. So that's kind of the key difference there. Oh, and this one is my favorite. So looks like there's a little bit of a delay on the screen for you guys, but this last bullet point, word of mouth. So word of mouth is huge. So oh goodness, this delay is still happening. Let's see. I'm going to unshare my screen and try again. Okay, here it comes. So word of mouth is huge, because the reason being, if you don't like someone and they tell you about this product that they're loving, you're probably not really going to care. You're not going to take them seriously. You're going to think, maybe that's not for me, because you don't like that person. And so why would you listen to what they have to say? Whereas word of mouth is super, super popular, or super, super impactful, I should say, not popular, super, super impactful when we're talking with people who we know, like, and trust. And so if you know someone well and you like them and you trust them, and they tell you that, this new fruit juice that they're drinking is just the most amazing, life-changing thing that they've ever had in their entire lives, you're probably going to believe them. But if, some stranger tells you that, that's going to be a little bit less believable. And that truly is the power of word of mouth when it comes to marketing. Because again, we tend to trust the people who we know and like. And so if you don't know anything about me and I'm trying to promote this product for you, it's possible that you're not really going to believe what I have to say. So just being able to talk to people about your experiences, about what's important to you, That is a super powerful tool when it comes to marketing. All right. I'm going to see if I can fix this screen. It looks like you all still can't see. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we will go on. So the basics of marketing. One really important facet of marketing is to think about market share. So market share refers to, out of available population, how many of them are involved in Girl Scouts. So if there are 100 girls, how many of those 100 girls are Girl Scouts? Well, a lot of girls that I talk to are really surprised because when I ask this question, girls typically will say 60 out of 100 are Girl Scouts, 70 out of 100 are Girl Scouts. In reality, the average is really closer to 4 to 8%, which means that out of 100 girls, about 4 to 8, maybe 10 of them are Girl Scouts. And so when we talk to girls, a lot of times this is really shocking. This is very surprising. Why aren't more girls Girl Scouts? Well, this is an important aspect of marketing and an important outcome that we're always looking to achieve when it comes to market share. So like I said, marketing helps us tell more girls about Girl Scouting. And you all know that you love talking about Girl Scouting and talking about your experiences with that. So how can we spread the word to girls? Well, there are a lot of answers to that question. There's lots of ways where we can spread the word to girls. But there are some questions that we can ask ourselves about, in order to think about how we're going to market the message. The first one being, what is our message? What is it that we're trying to tell people? Next, we want to ask, what action do we want people to take? So not only what is our message, but what are we wanting them to do with our message? Third, what information do they need to decide? So what do you need to know in order to make the decision that we're wanting you to make? Or what do you need to know in order to take the action that we're wanting you to take? Who do they want to hear it from? Do they need to hear it from their friend? Do they need to hear it from the Speaker of the House? Do they need, who is it that they need to hear that information from? Through what method? So is it in a newspaper article? Is it through a personal conversation? Is it at an event? What does that look like? When we answer all of these questions, it really gives us a glimpse at what that marketing is going to look like and how we're going to go about marketing this information. The key here, and this is super, super important, so if you take away one thing, well, I shouldn't say that. I want you to walk away with all of this amazing knowledge in your back pocket. But one super, super important thing is that audience is everything. So who you're speaking to, what is important to them, all of those aspects are so, so crucial. So you should at all times be thinking about who your audience is and what would this particular audience that you're speaking to, how would they answer these 5 questions? Or what would be best suited for them? Branding. So when we talk about brand, the brand is really the personification of an organization. Or in other words, it is the voice, the colors, the fonts, the overall vibe of an organization. The brand is really, it brings the organization to life. It kind of gives the organization a personality. Brand recognition is all about how well someone recognizes a brand. For example, certain fast food chains, if you're driving down the street, you might see that beautiful golden archway, double archway, right? And you know exactly what that represents. Girl Scout cookies also have huge brand recognition. So, they're something that people just automatically know about Girl Scout cookies and about what what they're about, what they stand for. They recognize that. Brand standards have to do with the approved styles for promoting a brand. So for our brand, we have lots of very specific rules for how we can and cannot or should and should not promote our brand. Any questions so far? All right. So this is where it becomes really important to think about how can we spread the word. So some various ideas: flyers, creating a video, helping at open houses, speaking to businesses. There's also definitely opportunities. If you reach out directly to me, there will be opportunities in the near future to join me on media interviews. So to join me on TV and on radio. I want to be very, very clear that this should be something that's done in partnership with us here on staff. So, what we don't want is for, people to just go out and talk to the media, all on their own, because, going back to the brand thing, we want to make sure that we're sending a very consistent brand message. So we definitely want this to be done in partnership, not just everybody going off willy-nilly and doing whatever they want. And that's to be said for all of these ideas. We want to partner with you all and help you spread the word about Girl Scouting. And the important piece here is that this should all be girl-led. And what I mean by that is if there's something on this list that really sticks out to you and really just makes you so excited to go spread the word about Girl Scouting, then that's what we want you to do. That's what we want to help you do. So those things that really just inspire you and make you so excited to be in Girl Scouts, these ideas that just light a fire under you, we would love to help you and get you involved in that process. And we are here to support you. So if you are looking at this list and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I would love to, help Girl Scouts create some YouTube videos, really ramp up our channel, that would be amazing. And we would love to work with you on that. So any of these things, if there's any other ideas that you have, we are more than happy to really give you that opportunity and work with you directly in order to make this happen. So if any of these ideas are something that you might be interested in, if you'd ever want to be part of that, my email will be listed at the end of these slides. So I'll be sure to include that information so that you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to work with you and see what we can do in order to help spread the word about Girl Scouts around you. There's also an opportunity this is more informational, so if there are, adults on the call, or if you're able to spread the word about this to your troop leaders, we do have recruitment materials available at all of our regional centers. We do need about 1 week's notice in order to pick those up. And then we also have yard signs, like I mentioned. So we highly, highly encourage people to pick up yard signs, posters, all kinds of different stuff, and help us get those out into the community, because any help that we can get with distributing these marketing materials would be just so helpful, just so beyond helpful. So in terms of where to distribute, it is really important to think about the goals of what you're trying to accomplish and who you're trying to communicate that to. For example, if you're really trying to target, kindergarten daisies, then maybe, by the football field at the high school, maybe that's not the best place to recruit kindergarten daisies, for like a daisy roundup or something like that. But, if you're trying to recruit older girls, then doing something like that at the high school, or if you're trying to recruit volunteers, promoting things at the high school with a yard sign or something like that might be super, super on point. So it's all about just considering who you're trying to target and what you're trying to accomplish, and that will really help guide you in what makes the most sense. And the other thing is that I'm definitely here to help with that, with those questions, and to think about, what might be the best way for us to spread the word about Girl Scouting. All right. Well, I am not seeing any other questions. So if you do have anything else, any other questions, please email me. I would love the opportunity to work with any girls who have a passion for marketing and really help spread the word. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have a lovely evening, and hopefully we will chat soon. Thank you.